Now, in the last video, we went through a step-by-step process to create a sales message, and each of these steps allows us to create what we would refer to as building blocks. And now in this video, we can use each of those building blocks to create individual cold email messages, and we can string those together to create a cold email campaign. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, we're actually gonna use SalesScripter to create this cold email campaign, because in SalesScripter, we have an area to create and put all of our answers from that sales message, which is the sales message builder. Then there's an area here for all of our sales messages, and here's a sales message, the Smart Sales System for sales trainers. And this is where we have all of the answers that we created in the last cold email workshop. And the great thing about doing this in SalesScripter is that SalesScripter has a sales playbook, and one of the folders in the sales playbook is email templates. And this is a library of email templates that fill in with your sales message. And what we actually have here is we have individual cold email messages, but we also have what are called cold email threads, which is a series of the individual cold emails tied together into a series that we can use as a cold email campaign. And there's actually one created using all of the individual building blocks, using the value, the pain points, the customer example, the questions, product building block, and the last attempt email. And if I just click on this, here is that cold email campaign. Now, all of these emails are generated and created by the software using all of our different answers. Now, certainly this gives us a huge head start because we don't have to create all these individual emails, but these emails aren't perfect because they are generated by software, so we need to make sure they look okay. And the software generated templates might include some text that we want to trim out. There might be some stuff that we want to include that the software didn't put in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these individual emails and we're going to tweak them a bit, and we probably want to add a couple emails to this series that the software doesn't include. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip back over to the PowerPoint slides, and what I've done is I've created a slide for each of those emails, and I've done this for a couple reasons. First of all, I've color coded the email templates so that you can see where all of the different answers are being filled in, and there's a key on the right side which tells you what the color coding refers to. So this allows you to create these templates on your own and fill in with your own information. But what I'm also going to do on these slides is show you the changes that I've made to these email templates. So email 1 is what we would refer to as the value message. And so this message just out of the gate focuses on the value that we can deliver to the target audience. So as we go through these emails, I also want to sort of outline some of the key philosophies that we incorporate with our cold emails and with our cold email campaigns. And one of the first key thoughts that I want to point out is that one thing we're trying to accomplish with our cold emails and our cold email campaigns is that, yes, we want to get the prospect to open our email, to read our email, and it would be great if they replied. But before we try to accomplish that, one thing we focus on with our approach is to minimize how quickly the prospect instantly deletes our email. If we can just accomplish that, that is a huge step forward. And these emails are designed to accomplish that in two different ways. First of all, the majority of these emails try to minimize how much we look like a salesperson that's trying to sell a product. And one way that this email does that in particular is you'll notice that we talk very little about the product that is being sold. This email focuses instead on the value that we can deliver to the target audience. In fact, we talk very little about the product and the company. Now, certainly there is a chance where we trigger some curiosity on the prospect side where they want to know how we deliver these improvements or what the heck we're talking about. And we will certainly include a link to our company or our business's website in our email signature. And we assume that just about all prospects know to go to our email signature and click on our website link if they are curious enough to learn more about us and what we're talking about and what we ultimately sell. Now, another way that we try to decrease the instant delete rate is by being as brief as possible in our cold email messages. I think all of us can just about agree that if you send an extremely long email message, a prospect will see all of those words and all of those paragraphs and instantly delete that based on being lazy and just the word count alone. Well, if we agree on that logic, then if we decrease the word count, we can decrease how quickly they are to instantly delete the email message. So if you look at this email, this is an extremely economical email in terms of word count. We have combed over these email templates again and again, looking for any word that we can delete. And we would recommend you do the same for your email messages. If you type out an email that you want to send, read that email again and again and look for any word or sentence that you can get rid of while still communicating the message you want to get across. Now, this template here that's laid out, this is the exact template that's generated by the SalesScripter software. And so what it basically does is, you can see in purple, it inserts your target audience, and then the bullet points are the benefits that you can deliver to that target audience. It uses the first benefit as the subject line, which we feel is a pretty good way for you to go about communicating to the person that you're emailing the general domain that you have something to offer, and also not sounding like a product pushing salesperson that's trying to sell something. And then after the bullet points is a soft takeaway where you express doubt whether or not the prospect needs the improvements that you have to offer. So this is an optional tactic that you can use to decrease a little guardedness on the prospect side and present yourself as not someone who's pushed their product on everybody that they talk to and everybody that they email. And then the last sentence goes for the close, which is closing for talking more in the form of a call or an appointment. And so we feel pretty good about this email template. It doesn't really necessarily tell the whole story, and that's fine, because we're going to continue to email the target prospect and continue to explain our story, tell our story over a number of emails. So we're just trying to educate the prospect in this first email on how we help other people that are similar to the target prospect. Now, since this is a software generated cold email template, we do want to make a few changes. We want to slightly modify that subject line. We want to just kind of tweak the way it's phrased a little bit. So if you're using these templates in SalesScripter, we certainly recommend that you just kind of review the subject lines and maybe tweak them a little bit. The other thing that we did is that we included a sentence at the end, which is, here is an ebook on objection handling you might find helpful, and there's a link to a free ebook. Now, a few things about this sentence. First of all, the main reason why we include this sentence is because when we send out these emails, we can track opens and clicks. So with that, what we want to do in as many of the emails as possible, we want to include a link for the prospect to click on so that we can view who's clicking on links and who's engaging with our emails, because then when we follow up with calls, we're going to call the prospects that are clicking on links first. Those are going to be our highest quality prospects and the first people that we call. So now the other thing about the link is that you could include a link to a lot of different things. This link in this email is what you would consider an example of providing value to the target audience. If you include a link to your product that you're trying to sell, that would be an example of taking value. You're trying to send the prospect to your information so that you can try to talk to them about what you're trying to sell to them. This is an example of giving value. You're sharing helpful information because this is an ebook that is not trying to sell anything. This is an ebook that's designed to provide tips and to help the target audience. So this link is giving value and enticing the prospect to click on something, and then those that click will provide us valuable prospecting data that is very actionable when we're doing our follow-up calls. Okay, and email number 2 uses our pain points building block. This email basically uses a lot of the same logic that we just went through. It's very brief in terms of word count. It uses your pain points as the bullet points. The software automatically uses the first pain point as the subject line, and the soft takeaway and the close is exactly the same. So if you agree with the logic and design of the first email, you should probably like this email because it's basically exactly the same. It just comes at it from the other angle. The first email focuses on improvements we can deliver to the target audience and this email focuses on the problems that we can resolve or the problems that the target audience might have. So the hope here is that if we've composed good improvements and good problems that our target audience might either be interested in or problems that they may have, we're increasing the odds of communicating something that strikes a chord with them, grabs their attention, builds a little interest. Now, just like the previous email, we want to make a minor modification to the software generated template, and that is just to insert a similar link. And so in this email, we're going to do a similar link to another ebook. This is our do's and don'ts of cold calling ebook, and there is a link for the prospect to get that. Actually, something I didn't mention earlier, I want to just talk about the link that's inserted here. When I insert links, I actually spell out the URL instead of making a hyperlink. What most email software applications would allow you to do is to type out the word free ebook or download ebook or click here, and you can highlight those words and turn those words into a link that goes to the ebook. And I try to avoid doing hyperlinked text because hyperlinked text makes your email look like a mass email that's being sent out to a lot of people. I want to make this email look like I'm writing this one-to-one, like it's a handwritten email. So even knowing I can certainly create that hyperlinked text, I'm going to actually type out the URL, and I'm going to make that URL that's typed out the actual hyperlink. So it almost looks like a copy and paste. And another thought in that area, I also avoid doing any formatting to my cold email messages, like highlighting any text, making any text bold or italicized, or including any kind of borders. I like just plain text. Now, email 3, I'm actually going to insert an additional email template, and I'm going to associate this email with our product building block. So you don't necessarily have to follow this, but the Smart Sales System has a sales simulator product, and one of the great things about that product is that it's very unique, and so it's something unique for us to talk about. And there's also a free trial. So this allows us to create a message without sounding like a salesperson that's trying to push a product. I can bring up the topic of role playing, which should be really interesting to the target audience that we're communicating with. And then I'm able to insert a link that actually delivers value in the form of something free for the prospect to try that they might be interested in. So there's probably not a whole lot for you to copy on this email, but the main takeaway for you is that the software can generate a great 6 email series, but you by no means have to stick with that. You can use that as the foundation and the starting place and build off of that. You can add additional emails. And then what was email 3, which is the customer example email, becomes email 4. And so this is the email that's generated by the software, and this email starts to bring in multiple different building blocks. And it's all color-coded here so you can see what this email is using, but it uses one of the main value points as the subject line. Then in the first email, we mentioned the target audience, and we mentioned a pain point that they were having trouble with. Then we mentioned the product for this sales message that we use to solve that pain point. And then we mentioned 2 different value points. We do a soft takeaway, and then we go for the close of trying to close for the appointment. And so here are just 2 changes. We, again, similar to a previous email, we just tweaked the subject line a little bit. And then similar to the other emails, the only other change we made was we inserted an ebook at the bottom with a link to be clicked on. Email 5 is what was email 4, but this is one of the standard emails generated by the software. And this email uses your pain questions. And so basically, it just takes the pain questions that you came up with and uses those as the bullet points. And I just want to point out real quick, we by no means are sending these pain questions hoping for the prospect to read our email and respond with answers to all of these different questions. These are very open, thought-provoking questions. A prospect would never respond with their answers. More so, what this email is designed to do is, at this point, we've sent a bunch of emails. So now we're just trying to let the prospect know that basically, hey, we'd love to talk to you. If we had the chance to talk to you, these are some of the questions we would ask. If you were only going to send one email to your prospect, this by no means would be a good cold email. This email serves a purpose towards the end of your cold email campaign. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some of the different features of our product. And so we're going to focus first on sending a product email that focuses on sales training. And again, this template is specific to us, so there's not a lot for you to copy, but just to explain what we did. One of the features of the Smart Sales System is a training program and sales methodology and training videos. And then we introduce that feature of our product with a link for the prospect to click on to where they can access our training program. And while yes, this is mentioning our product, it is still us providing value to the audience because the link provides access to free training videos. So that is email 6. We're going to send as email 7 another product email, and this focuses on another feature of the Smart Sales System, which is our email guesser tool. So again, nothing for you to copy here, but just letting you know. And in this email, we also do provide a link for the prospect to click on. And yes, while this is a promotion for that feature of the product, it is still in line with us delivering value to the target audience because the link goes to a 30-day free trial where the prospect can actually use the email guesser for free. So that is email 7. And now email 8, we go back to the software generated product building block cold email template that introduces the product and the features and the differentiation. And we just made some minor tweaks to the wording in the first sentence and some minor tweaks to the wording in the second sentence. Nothing major there. Other than that, we're basically going to be sending something pretty close to the software generated cold email template. And this is email 8. And then email 9 is a standard cold email template in the software generated series, which is what we would refer to as the last attempt email. This is where we start to head in the direction of walking away. So at this point, we've emailed the prospect a lot. Hopefully, we've called the prospect many times. And at this point, if they're receiving this, we have been very unsuccessful at getting a hold of this person and we're going to start to walk away. And before we do that, we're going to send one last email. And the message basically uses the value points building block again to reinforce what we've already said, which is basically these are the ways we help the people we work with, and just trying to check to see, are you sure you don't need that? And we're basically going to send this exactly as is without any changes. So we made a lot of changes. We added a lot of emails, and I just want to point out, this is the 6 email series that's generated by the software using your building blocks. And this is what we ended up with. We went from a 6 email series to a 9 email series, basically by adding a few different emails. And the key thing for you to take away from this is that you don't have to just send 6. I mean, think of additional pieces of information that you can share that are either key to you telling your full story or additional pieces of information that you can share that are of value to the prospect, and be open to adding additional emails to your cold email campaign. Now what we need to do is we need to actually create a cold email campaign inside of SalesScripter, and it's very easy to do. All I have to do is I go to the CRM area of SalesScripter, go to email campaigns, click add email campaign, and the first thing I have to do is create a name for the campaign. And one of the nice things about SalesScripter is that I showed you in the sales playbook that the software generated that series of 6 emails, and it's just real easy to bring in that set of emails. All I have to do is click on cold email thread here, and the software is going to load up all of those standard email templates. And so if I didn't want to make any changes, I could just hit save and I'm ready to go with a 6 email cold email series. But there are 2 things that I have to do. I have to modify the templates by adding those links and modifying those subject lines and making all those small details. And then I have to add 3 additional emails to this cold email campaign. So let me do that real fast. And now all I have to do is insert those additional email templates, and all you have to do is click this button, add an email, and then it's very easy just to insert or create a new email message that will be part of that email series. So let me just copy and paste those email templates real quick. All right, and so that is it. All the changes have been made, and all I have to do is click save, and we have now created a cold email campaign for the Smart Sales System. And if I want to view what that campaign looks like, all I have to do is click on this name right here, and here is the email campaign with all of the emails and all of the emails that I added. And all we have to do now is find contacts and add them to this email campaign. And we will show you how to do that in the next video, where we will show you how to use LinkedIn to find prospects, and then we will use our email guesser to get their email address and then add those contacts to our CRM and to our email campaign. Now, as part of this cold email workshop video series, we are offering a special offer. It is our cold email jumpstart package, and we're calling it a jumpstart package because basically it includes everything you need to get started and everything you need to do exactly what we're showing you in these videos. And in fact, we'll do a lot of the work for you, and the setup can be really quick. We could get you going and get your emails going out as soon as a couple days after purchasing this. But what you'll get with this package is you'll get a 6-month subscription to the SalesScripter Pro subscription, which includes all of the email automation functionality you would need to launch these email campaigns and send out these emails. You'll also get a lot of consulting with me. I will actually work with you. I'll spend 2 hours with you going through our standard sales message brainstorming process that I explained in the last video to create your sales message strategy. And then I'll spend about 5 hours working with you, taking your sales message and taking the email templates and the series that's created by the software to create a more full, custom tailored, and set that up inside of SalesScripter. And then the next step will make more sense in the next video, and that is where we will provide 50 hours of LinkedIn searching, looking for your target contacts, and then using our email guessing tool to get their email address and then add those contacts to your SalesScripter CRM software, where they will be added to your email campaign. And so the total cost for all of this is $2,591, and the promotional price for this workshop is $1,591, which is a savings of $1,000. So I'll include a link in the description to purchase that, and if you sign up with that link, you will save $1,000. And this is a limited time offer. I only mention that because we are putting this as a video on YouTube, and it will likely be a video on YouTube for a long time, and pricing changes. So most likely down the road, if you see this video and you want to purchase this package, most likely we will probably honor this promotional price, but things change down the road, so we will reserve the right to not offer this price indefinitely. So that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, the best place to go is salesscripter.com. If you want more information on the SalesScripter software, there are plenty of demo videos on our website. If you want more tips, there are plenty of how-to videos. There are ebooks you can download for free. If you want to contact us, that's the best place to go. You can get our phone number, email address. There's a chat window. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.